Hello everybody and welcome back to the gorgeous Silverstone circuit here in Northampton, England for what could be one of the most exciting races in a very long time here at Simraceway. We've got two more lined up for you, the 900 to 1100 B and A race using the glorious new NP429 available to buy right now, and the only way to get your hands on McLaren's new official 2014 Formula 1 contender. So my name's Liam Jenkins, I'll be calling all of the action for you over the next couple of hours or so until the World Cup final. And obviously the World Cup fever is very strong here in Simraceway, and many of the drivers looking to try and do better than perhaps their own country in the World Cup and bring home a victory and a trophy to see how it just looks on their mantelpiece. But qualifying underway, most drivers out on the circuit at the moment, and just trying to make sure that obviously they get out there while the track is slightly uncongested. And just make sure they get as many lap times in as possible, get the banker lap in nice and early before it is too late. Of course, it can change so quickly here at Silverstone, and whilst it's a big circuit, its nature can offer some interesting surprises, and the $7.50 car can be yours, of course, with in-game credits, which would mean you get it for completely free of charge, or for $7.50 real monetary value. But the car that was designed by Tim Goss for McLaren to compete this season has not really been too much to shine away from. Some very impressive form of recent weeks, and at the Silverstone Grand Prix just last Sunday performed exceedingly well, especially in the qualifying session. So the one-lap pace of this car has started to come alive in recent weeks, and that is symbolised here in Simraceway. But just remember though, at the very start of the season, it was Kevin Magnussen and Jenson Button that finished 3rd and 4th on the road, but then were elevated to 2nd and 3rd after Daniel Ricciardo's retirement. So this car has performed very well. Unfortunately, has had a bit of a downfall to about the mid-stage of the season. A couple results outside the top 10. I think that was China and Spain, actually. They did there, and then they got themselves 2 4th positions in Canada and Great Britain as well, respectively. So they have been much better in recent weeks. But the car itself is using the V6 turbo. It's right in the heart of the car. Something new for these drivers that have been used to driving the NP428, which was the last of the V8 era. A quick run through of the times at the moment then. It's not too far adrift, actually. I was expecting it to be a very different session as to how it's panned out. We've got Blue Fatality, who's fastest with a 1:33.9, Flaren 89 in 2nd, Luigi in 3rd, Devil Bev in 4th, and Rudolph in P5 with a 1:35.8. The entire field separated by just 1.8 seconds. That's not very much at all, especially when you consider the amount of variables that we've got here today. And even so, still plenty of time left in the session as Blue Fatality goes over the line after just being knocked down by Luigi and retakes pole position. So Fatality not going down without a fight at all. He's been a very big threat recently and has done some brilliant jobs in terms of his Simraceway career. But back into the garage he goes currently for a bit. Obviously the main difference you can tell straight away about this car from its predecessor is the front wing and the new nose cone that's been improvised for 2014. Also, if you look at the onboard, the steering wheel, very, very different compared to what we saw in last year's McLaren competitor for the Formula 1 World Championship. You've got the 2 dials on the right and the left. A lot of buttons and, well, I guess more buttons to keep an air pilot happy, isn't it? I think even the pilots with the red arrows would have a field day inside that cockpit. It all looks very complicated. And these drivers know what each and every button does. We're making sure they use that knowledge to their very best into this session. But 3 laps into it now as the qualifying is well underway, and it is still Blue Fatality that leads the charge. 4 minutes to go. Still a lot can change, but it does look to me that Blue Fatality's got a certain domineering presence over this session at the moment. It's all about just getting those good results though, as the gap's about 0.4 of a second between himself and Devil Bevin. Luigi just a few hundredths behind that, and a further 10th behind is Engange. So a much tighter top 5 now, with it being separated by about 7 or 8 of a second. Brock Landers is in 6th place. 7th is Lazarus, 8th Darek, 9th Rudolph, And that runs out your runners for the moment. Flower 89 moving very slowly there on the left-hand side of the circuit. That's going down, hanging straight into Stowe Corner. Wondering if he's just maybe letting cars through or something, or trying to wait for the track to clear up a bit so he can get himself a nice lap time in and not have to worry about traffic, because the last sector currently, you've got 6 cars all making their way through the last few corners. It's not exactly ideal for drivers looking to try and get some clean air. This Fatality sits 2.4 tenths of a second clear of Devil Bevan at the moment. It's not going to be enough to secure in pole position if it stays as it is. He knows he's going to try and find more. In towards Luffields now goes Blue Fatality, and this is what we're talking about. He's got a little bit of competition there, and that is in the way of Darek. Now hopefully Darek will move out of the way pretty rapidly, because he doesn't want to stand in the way of a charging Blue Fatality who's topped the timesheets all afternoon. And down Hagel already, you can see how quickly Blue Fatality is compared to Darek. Into Stowe Corner, and Darek is being eaten alive out there, isn't he? That gap has just come crushing down. And Fatality's got to be careful, because in a part of the circuit which requires a lot of downforce, you're going to lose it in the dirty air, and that's not what you want. You don't want to run wide of the corner. You've only got 2 tenths of a second clear, although the slipstream may help. Darek makes a bit of an error, and therefore allows Fatality through. Over the line he goes. And no improvement, however, though. He'll start another lap now. Devil Bevan also completes his next lap, but to no avail of improvement. Luigi, you are about halfway through his. Ingange sets a lap and stays 5th, 0.05 of a second away from Lazarus at this stage. There's still plenty to play for. We've seen many times here before that even after the checkered flag falls, there can still be some unforeseen surprises. It's never over until that checkered flag is out and every car is back to the garage. So always be sure to keep an eye on the cars in the midfield. They're the ones that often spring up the most surprises. Let's just see if there are any perhaps even more domineering performances from your pole sitter. He's 5 tenths clear over Ingange in 5th at the moment. So there isn't that long left to go. Fatality's back in the pits. Bevan's back in the pits. Lazarus stays out, so Lazarus should be able to complete his next lap, as will Luigi. Ingange, I'm sure it's about to finish his one though. So both fastest drivers in the session are sat in the pit lane, which is intriguing to say the least. We've got to keep an eye on the man in 3rd place, Ingange. Well, 5th place I should say. He's a 10th away from Luigi in 4th. Had a very tardy last sector, out of the final corner, bit of oversteer there, and that may cost him. Over the line he goes to take the checkered flag, and he does take time out to 0.02 of a second, but it's not enough to move him onto the 2nd row of the grid. In fact, he gets demoted to 6th after Luigi is being demoted there as well. I think Lazarus set the time. Yes, so Lazarus goes up into P4 with that one. Rudolph back in the pits. Darek stays in 9th. Let's see what Luigi's capable of. Lazarus still out on the circuit also, so 2 drivers still to set times, and Lazarus going to be the first of them. Into Stowe Corner, looking very cool, calm and collected. Out of Vale and through Club Corner he goes. You can tell already Lazarus looking like he's been very conservative. Is it enough? No, 1:34.0 is not the time he's looking for. The question is, will Luigi be able to now secure himself on the 2nd row of the grid? Or will it be alive in the top 5 come the end of the session? Over the line goes Luigi, you are, and it's going to be top 5. 5th position for Luigi. That brings us to the end of the session. We'll be right back with you shortly for the full race. Hello everybody and welcome back live to Silverstone then for the third of fourth races for you tonight and the first of the 900 to 1100 Skillquant. My name's Ian Jenkins. I'll be calling all of the action for you over the next 20 laps. We've seen some fantastic racing so far with the MP4 29s and it's only going to get better. 5 red lights are on. Fatality took pole position. Can he keep it before we're going in towards turn 1? Let's find out then. Big start on the outside for him as Flaren immediately tries to back it up and take the inside run and is very closer to almost touch. And Luigi spins off, and I think that's just about. I think Engange is off as well. Yeah, Engange goes flying into the barrier, so a rear wing, or front wing I should say, lost there. But the only 2 cars that were involved in an incident as they go through the loop for the first time. Brock Landers has a spin as well, and that was self-inflicted. I think he just lost the back end coming out of the corner. Tyres are cold early on in the race, the track temperatures are low. Very easily done as Devil Bevin also has a bit of oversteer and makes a mistake, but it's Blue Fatality. He's already made his intentions very clear. 2.5 seconds clear of the nearest car at the moment. And through the national pit straight he goes. He's already looking very complacent up there. Lazarus under pressure in second though from Flower 89 as they go through Cops Corner in towards Maggotts and Beckett. Flower gets a fantastic run, but you don't want to overtake through here. Very risky. He's got to back out of it. You're at 160 miles an hour, and that is not a corner you want to go side by side through, trust me. But now they make their way onto the hangar straight in the attempt of maybe just trying to get a run into Stowe Corner, but I think it's going to be a little easier said than done this time around. All the other drivers have recovered. It's just Engange with damage we see. He's just lost the front wing unfortunately. The rest of the drivers though, as we say, managing okay as they go towards the end of lap number 1. So across the start finish line goes Fatality with a 6-second deficit to the car behind him. Lazarus follows, then it's Flower and Rudolph and Nye Raceway as well. This is his debut here today. And trying to go to the outside into the loop, into Village Corner. Ducks to the inside, the apex closes up way too quickly to try anything too mischievous through there. And he does have to rethink his tactics slightly. No, Rudolph goes very wrong, and I think a bit of a knock there on the front wing of Nye Raceway may just allow Devil Bevin to get a good run going down the Wellington straight. It's not as long as Hanger though. And that move is going to be taken away from him as he can't close up on the apex as quickly as he'd like through Woodcote and Luffield. On towards the national pit straight, and already you can feel that Devil Bevin has become a massive part of this fight. Down the national pit straight they go, and for a car which is so good on downforce, it needs to get a good run in towards Maggotts and Beckett. That's where the car shines, and down the hangar straight is where the best overtaking opportunity of the lap will come. My Raceway knows that, and look how much he's closed up already. Trying to go to the outside, you don't want to get the run too early though, because you will surrender the deficit as you go down the straight, but it's not been the case. Rudolph makes his intentions very clear, going to the outside to defend. Nye Raceway on the inside of Stowe, very late braking from Rudolph, and that would have caught Nye Raceway from surprise, and he's spun around. A complete pirouette, he's on the grass, and that is such a shame. He's down to 7th place and he's allowed Darek and Devil Bevin through, so not only has Devil Bevin escaped, Darek is on the tail of them now, so it's still a 3-car battle. But now Nye Raceway has got a whole other battle to worry about as Brock Landis wants to try his luck. And that really is a shame. We were expecting big things there from Nye Raceway on his debut here today. And now Brock Landis almost sends the car launching to the inside, left to wrap it round the outside of Village Corner. He's done so, so Brock Landis to 7th prematurely. And Nye Raceway can't get the drive he needed, and does unfortunately surrender the position on lap number 3. So everyone performing exceptionally well at the moment though. There's still plenty left to be fighting over. There's another trio of cars that are set to lock in battle now. So nothing is over, especially when the race is this long as well. 20 laps, it's going to be very intriguing to see how the drivers handle this sort of distance. Some of them still new, so having to adapt to 20 laps of racing. A lot of skid marks there. Now, who's that gone off? Get hold of it. Oh, it's Engange off again. So he's got the new front wing and spun already, so not only is he a lap down, but the race seems to be going from bad to worse for Nganj, who's a long-time racer here at Simraceway, and that is a real shame. But down Wellington he goes, and he'll be very, very distraught with that one. We've got to keep our focus on the cars up front though, because Devil Bevin, relentless to try and overtake Rudolph 5-2-3. He was very excited about the race earlier on. And you can see why with the pace that he has. He's holding fourth valiantly well. How much longer can he hold on though as Devil Bevin sneaks one up the inside? I think he may run out of road. Until we run out of road, Rudolph goes completely wide, surrenders 2 positions. So now Devil Bevin in 4th and Darek in 5th, and now these two scrapping. So Rudolph is getting the popcorn out to watch this battle, lap 4 of 20, and they're going at it like it's a 5-lap sprint. There's no sense of conserving energy or trying to wait for the right moment here. These guys want to escape, they want to get a good run, and that's evident in the way they're driving. Fantastic stuff to watch though, it really is. Through the national pit straight again, and they're just unrelenting, these drivers. Absolutely brilliant to watch. It's Blue Fatality taking a look at his lap time compared to the other drivers around him. I say around him, he's actually 18 seconds clear of Lazarus 16 in second right now. So Blue Fatality on top of the world and on top of his game as well. Oh, he spun! Blue Fatality spun! Now that's going in towards Vale Corner. He's got the car going again, and look at the lead. He's going to lose. Lazarus 16 can feel a change. More oversteer for Fatality. And now the pressure's looming. Lazarus to the outside. And he can't get it done. Fatality is scrapping. Just clawing his way back forward. He's got a lot of ground to make up. He knows he's quicker. But if he loses his position, his race could change in a heartbeat. Now in towards Luffield and Woodcote, three-way battle for the lead commences. Fatality needs to get his skates on and pull away very, very quickly. So what was a very exciting battle for second has now become a very exciting battle for the race lead. As we said before, this is so unpredictable, a circuit which can throw up many surprises. It has done in the past. If you remember the legendary name of Asa O'Connor, you'll remember that this is the one circuit where he made the pit stop error which cost him an overall victory. Silverstone truly symbolises everything that we love about motorsport. Side by side there are Lazarus and Devil Bevin going in towards Stowe Corner. And it's going to be Devil Bevin that swoops it round the outside for third, leaving Devil Bevin absolutely clueless there. Behind as well, you've got Brock Landers and Rudolph who are fighting over position. I really cannot believe how well these drivers are handling the pressure right now. They've done very, very well to maintain their current stature and motivation levels without making any real mistakes. But one man who did, of course, was Blue Fatality, and now he's only about a second clear of Flaren 89, and that's not something he would have wanted to hear, I can assure you that much. Through the national pit straight, and a rundown of the order then, because I think quite a lot's changed since the opening lap. We've only had 9 minutes of racing here, and we've seen some breathtaking action. Fatality leads from Flaren, then you've got Devil Bevin, Lazarus 16, Darek, Rudolph, Brock Landers, and Nye Raceway in 8th. Only just as Luigi UR looks to try and change that one in 9th, and then Ganj is in 10th place and rounds out with final runner. So still 10 out of 10 runners racing here. Lap 6 out of 20. But my goodness me, you could not ask for a more exciting start to the race. The cars separated by virtually nothing in the midfield as Rudolph struggles to hold on from Brock Landers. We get into Stoke corner. That seems to be the corner that's throwing up the most shocks here today. Over the line still, holding strong is Rudolph, but it's going to feel like there's a wind of change blowing because Believe Fatality, who had 18 seconds at the start of this race, now has just 3.1. And whilst that is still reasonably respectable compared to what he had before, and knowing that he's made an error once already today, it's not as convincing as perhaps he would have liked. Only time will tell if he can carry on this sense of momentum though over the national pit straight again, and 5 seconds clear, so it is improving. But well, it's time to take a breather, isn't it? But we can't at all because there's another battle for 7th with Simraceway, who's not attacking now. In fact, he's trying to fend off Luigi UR and Brock Landers. These three already been in the wars today, and I think that's set to continue. All three take a slightly more scenic route there through Copse Corner. Now Brock Landers has seemingly disappeared. Now, I'm not too sure what's happened there, but Brock Landers in the garage. I'm assuming that could be a disconnection fault. So Brock Landers out of the race, becomes our first retirement. Luigi is now off the circuit. I think I put a commentator's curse on it saying there are 10 out of 10 runners remaining. However, one thing I haven't put a curse on is how good this race has been. I don't think anything can change that. The drivers have been given their all so far, and it has been monstrosities in terms of driving and motivation level. Some breathtaking action in the early stages. I didn't think that drivers really gave this much. Normally they tend to hold back, be very concealed with the way they drive, because obviously there's a lot at stake. You don't want to throw away a race like we've seen in Ganj do with 2 incidents. You want to maybe just stay consistent, maybe give 80 to 90%, and then give your full 100 to 105% when you get in towards those final 5 laps and the race is on the line. But even so, the driver's looking in incredible form today. So a rundown of what's happening in the top 5. It's Fatality that's got about 9 seconds now. Well, 5 seconds I should say, back to Flaren. So it is building up once again, but unfortunately there's still a lot of work and housing to be rebuilt on the tornado that swooped it dry. Then it's Devil Bevan about 20 seconds away. He's 5 seconds clear of Lazarus 16 and Darek a few seconds behind him. Rudolph remains in 6th with Simraceway 7th, Luigi you are in 8th, Ganj in 9th, and Brock Landers sits in a healthy garage. So we'll be watching the race from his own pit box, which is something that I don't think he would have liked to do. Would have loved to be back in the fight where we've seen him race all along and do so well in the past. So the gap now started to separate out a little as Darek remains in 5th, Rudolph 6th now, but Simraceway already having dispersed of one car has now got another one still tucked up right behind him, and unfortunately for viewing purposes it's not a car for fighting position. It is in fact Ganj who is a lap down, so that one is not for racing position. His nearest competitor is 35 seconds down the road. Even so though, what Ganj will be wanting to do is just maybe have a bit of a scout of the opposition, seeing how he approaches the corners, where he can improve. Still well over half the race left to go. You don't really want to be doing anything too much. I think everyone's fully aware of how much can change in a Simraceway event. You don't want to be jeopardising a race or just giving up too early, because we've seen before people who are last that maybe the opening stint can come through and still take a very clean, very convincing victory. It's never over until it's over. we get ready to approach half race distance, so don't we? Because on lap 10 out of 20 is fatality, so next time by will be number 11, meaning 10 completed, obviously. He's only still 4 seconds away from Flaren, a 1:34.1 for him, a 1:34.8 for the man in second, so the gap still isn't an incredible or convincing amount. Another mistake would see fatality lose the lead of the race, and that's something I'm pretty sure no one wants to see, none more so than blue fatality. He's trying to keep an eye on other battles that could be forming now, and I think one of the main ones could very well be Rudolph 523, who's doing his best to hold off from Raceway at the moment. He's gone very wide there actually, but even so, he's in 7th, trying to catch Rudolph in 6th. Remember, just 2 hours to go until the World Cup final gets underway, and these drivers only 11 laps to go until the end of the race, and they'll be purely focused on what's going on at Silverstone. But something to notice about Engange as well, and I know he's a lap down, but his pace still there. He's sticking with Raceway and Rudolph, which is intriguing because he of course advanced from the 500 to 900 Skillquant, which was the race earlier on. The Skillquant system, a genius innovation by Simraceway, which makes sure that you'll never be outraced or racing with aliens, or maybe racing with people who are going to crash you off. Skillquant always ensures you race with people who are around the same skill level as you, who compete to the same standard as you, and are around the same pace. So Engange was incredible in the races earlier on, and was able to advance up into the 900 to 1100 Skillquant event, and is able to sing it to the big boys. And you've got to wonder how competitive this man would be if he was on the same lap as them. He's staying with them right now, and I think he'll just have fun racing non-competitively with them. Obviously he can't even take them because the blue flags would come out, but Raceway still trying to attack Rudolph, and he'll need every bit of help in hand he can get, that's for sure. No, he's trying to stick his nose in there, isn't he? He's not giving up slightly. But an update on Blue Fatality's domineering lead. It is back up to 11 seconds once again, so he's starting to push on a little bit now as Flaren gains a little through Stowe Corner. It's not now enough to bring the gap fully down. Blue Fatality been on tip-top form as of late, and has really become a force to be reckoned with in both the 900 to 1100 Skillquant and regular events as well. A name that's risen through the ranks of Simraceway, and just a showcase as to what a lot of hard work can do for you and your Simraceway career. Of course, it's not just bragging rights that these guys are fighting over. There is cash prizes at stake. A bit of a look up there from Flaren, but nothing that will set him back too far. So cash prizes are, as we say, at stake here for the racers today. They do want to get the best position they can as soon as they can. They don't want to be left trying to scrap or fight for positions that they know they should be fighting over. With only a few laps to go, they want to make sure they secure a good result early on, so they can just drive the cars home safely. But in a race that's been dominated by consistencies and inconsistencies so far, it's nice to see the drivers all settle down into a rhythm as we're over the halfway stage. Raceway and Rudolph 523 were battling, and now I think what's happened is Raceway has been more focused on keeping the lap Engange at bay, but Rudolph's been able to just sneak off into the sunset slightly. 2.1 seconds away is the current margin between the two drivers, and Raceway knows that he's going to try and put the hammer down. However, though, something much easier said than done, especially in a car as tricky to control as this one. The new V6, of course, still new to Simraceway. You can buy it for just $7.50. Raceway goes to the inside, launches an assault there on Rudolph into Stowe, and that was surely just a warning signal of what's to come. He's not going to fade away. He will be here to the very end. And he can't afford It's opportunity slide. Yes, we know Engange is there, but he can't just throw it away. He's got to play this conservatively and make sure he makes the right decision. Stalking him down now into the loop. Up the inside he goes. Rudolph trying to sweep it round, and they make contact. Oh, and Night Raceway, it's Engange. And Engange comes off worse in what was very much a chain reaction effect. And now Engange is trying to have a little look up the inside of Rudolph, so we're sure these two will resume their battle very shortly. But it's a real shame they were looking so strong earlier on as well. Wait and see then what the next few laps hold for us, but Luigi UR will be very thankful with that one. That's given him a bit of a breathing space. He's only 52 seconds away from the nearest car right now, but Night Raceway and Rudolph left to battle once again as Engange does get safely out of the way. And now this is where heroes become legends, and legends staple themselves into the history books, isn't it? Lap 13 of 20, down the hanger straight. Raceway's got to think outside the box. He's been here before. He knows what it takes to try and make a move, but he needs to try and find something much sooner rather than later. Over the line goes Rudolph. Let's take a look at the lap times then. A 1:38.1 for Rudolph and a 1:38.184. So literally 100th of a second slower was Rudolph to Night Raceway that time. So they really are starting to match each other on about every level. It's seesawing the gap. We'll keep an eye on what Luigi's doing, but 50 seconds away is not going to be too much of a factor, we don't think. Now Engange again getting involved. We know he's quick. This is a real testament to his pace. As we said, even if he is a lap down, being able to go side by side with someone in 6th is a very comfortable achievement. But now we've also got a little bit of trouble here because Lazarus is actually starting to catch these guys now. Up the inside he goes there of Night Raceway. Now that is intriguing. Night Raceway's just in front, so we're going to have a three-way battle now over 5th position. What can Lazarus do? On P7, it's not ideal for him at all, is it? But I think we're all very much aware of what this man is capable of. So the top three then now: Devil Bevin, Flaren and Blue Fatality. Night Raceway questioning something. He's not too happy. But the best thing to do is just race on and let the live marshals sort out any faults or anything like that at all. Over a start-finish line again goes Night Raceway, a 1:36.7, a 1:35.7 for Lazarus, so 9/10 of a second quicker there for Lazarus 16, who sits himself just behind the battle for the top 5 at the moment. Is there a sweeping wind of change here for Lazarus? He needs a bit of luck, doesn't he, I think? We very much appreciate one. Down the Wellington straight he chases. And Night Raceway is going to have to be very much so looking in his mirrors more than he is looking out of his visor. So we've got about 5 laps remaining, just about 5.5 as Blue Fatality about to start lap number 16 of 20. And Engange, Brock Landers as well, also providing some top class action here today. I think all of the drivers have been driving out of their skin with his new car and still adjusting to it has been the key factor here, that it's still a new piece of architecture. They're not used to driving the V6. Many still used to attacking with the V8, the MP428 from the 2013 season. The first weekend this has been used in a Sunday event, and many of the drivers used to it now for the first time in a racing environment instead of just a time trial or testing. Everyone down of retirement so far. It is just one car that remains out of the race, and that man is Brock Landers after a disconnection on the 7th lap of the race after fighting the P7. That would have meant the fight for 5th place would have been a three-way battle, but Night Raceway has escaped again. The hunted has become the hunter. Trying to take a much wider line through the loop to cut underneath Rudolph 523, but is either a little too far away. Down Wellington, he attacks now, but into Woodcote and Luffield. I think Rudolph's going to be able to just about hold on. He shouldn't provide too many surprises. But 4 more laps of racing will be about to be set underway here as they cross the start-finish line next time by through the National Pit Straight and into Copse Corner. And the new first corner at Silverstone, a direct clone almost of Copse. As this time they go into Maggots and Beckett's for time number 16. As we say, this part of the circuit is so crucial for the run down onto the Hangar Straight. Rudolph knows how much speed Night Raceway can carry, and that's evident by how much the gap closes. Night Raceway now all over that gearbox. And Rudolph 523 goes to the inside. Rudolph trying to fight, pushing right to the white line, the edge of the circuit. But Night Raceway at the inside, and again Rudolph defiantly braking later and staking his claim to the top 5. Up into Vale, can Night Raceway finally get alongside? The answer is still no. Rudolph defending like a trooper at this stage. Trying to watch them again. Now Lazarus and Rudolph have become the 2 drivers to watch because Night Raceway has made a bit of an error. Now I wasn't sure if it was Night Raceway or Lazarus, but confirmation, Night Raceway has made the error and it's now Lazarus that sits in 6th place and is trying to attack Rudolph. So poor Rudolph just can't seem to get a break, and he can't with that sort of thing happening. He's just been absolutely assaulted. That rear wing's lucky to still be attached to the back of the McLaren. And now Rudolph is trying to get his way past Ingange, who is still reluctant to move out of the way. So, Rudolph, Lazarus, Night Raceway in 7th. This has been a very bizarre couple of laps. 3 drivers changing around more than... Oh, I don't know what they're changing around more. They're changing around that often. It's very insane to see. It's like someone just taken the 3 names, put them into a hat and started shaking them around. The positions are changing that much. Ingange being the catalyst there, of course, the lap car that's obviously got the pace to compete with them. And very fair play to him because he's done a fantastic effort of keeping his car fighting with drivers in the midfield. And now through turn number 1 again, lap 18 of 20 then, 2.5 laps remaining. Blue Fatality through the National Pit Straight is really starting to stake his claim to victory now, has not really looked back. He made an error earlier on, surrendered an 18-second lead, valiantly fought off Flower 89, who's now 22 seconds away but 9 seconds clear of Devil Bevin. So the top 3 have all had very quiet races, very comfortable races, that will get them very nice points in the opening stages of the GP Championship, and McLaren celebrating a very special anniversary this year, of course. So as we just took a quick breather to listen to the new V6 turbos, which we now return to Formula 1, we've still got just over a lap and a half to go. Blue Fatality with a 1:33.9 last time by. Blistering pace it's been. Flower in 2nd, Devil Bevan in 3rd, Direct 4th. And now this is where things get a bit crazy. Lazarus is trying to fight with Ingange, which isn't over for position. Ingange, as we said, in graduating from the 500 to 900 Skillquant, finds himself hustling with some of the bigger boys in this championship. Well, whilst he's not going to shun the opportunity away, certainly perhaps a bit more than what he expected. He's in a bit deep as Lazarus and Rudolph once again start to fight each other. Lazarus trying to go around the outside of the loop, and that has been his favoured overtaking opportunity. Onto the Wellington straight, and he's got nice up close and personals to go into Woodcote. He's right on that rear end. Will he dart to the inside now? No, not quite, does he? He's going to have to brake exceedingly late, and he can't quite muster up the nerve to pull it off. I don't blame him. The apex closes up so quickly, there's not much you can do really. So the final lap of the race is now getting underway for Blue Fatality. Over the line he goes. 20 laps later, and it's still Fatality that leads this race by 23 seconds. So no, Raceway's retired. No, Raceway out of the race on the penultimate lap. And what a shame that is. We've got a car leaving the pit lane as well. Now that belongs to Devil Bevin. So Devil Bevin from third leaves. Darek's coming down the final straight, bringing with him Rudolph and Lazarus. Is he going to lose a position? I think he might. He's going to lose all three. Now does he? He's come right out. He has done. He's behind Lazarus, attacking at the inside of Village. My goodness me, we've got a scrap for a podium. Devil Bevin down to 6th place. Darek holding off three very rabid Tigers. Down they go, Rudolph defending. A much better run there for Devil Bevin, who's already up to 5th now, trying to go out the inside. Rudolph tries his traditional brake later method, doesn't work. Devil back to 5th. But it's Rudolph now who has got to try and stay there. Lazarus is in 4th. Darek is in 3rd place. Now where is our race leader? We've got to watch him cross the line. The answer is he's going through Club Corner. What a race this has been. Blue Fatality led every single lap from pole position, and a dominating victory for Fatality in the MP4 29. He'll be one happy man going into Donington next weekend. Fantastic effort. Flaren 89 finishes 2nd. Who's going to finish 3rd? It still remains to be seen. They're going down Hanger Straight now. The slipstream is all it takes. Darek should be able to hold on, providing he doesn't outbrake himself. Does he? The answer is no. It's very narrow though. 2 more corners to go. It's not over yet. Lazarus is going to break exceedingly late. He hits him, and Lazarus goes round the outside. He's going to maybe lose a position to Rudolph. So Lazarus is going to take 4th. Darek takes the final podium. Lazarus 4th. 5th is barely Rudolph. What a top 5 there. Devil Bevin 6th. Luigi will take a lonely 7th in front of Engange in 8th, who was a lap away. His race could have been so much different if he'd have just held on or not made the incident lap 1. 9th and retired was Nye Raceway and Brock Landers. What an absolutely sterling race, and what a debut for the McLaren MP4 29. We've still got one more race coming up for you. The 900 to 1100 A race is coming with you very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you.